up on Trendz Live. Street artist Senzo Nhlapo takes us through phenomenal murals and township art pieces at his home studio in Soweto. Then we take a short lift to Hartebeesport to explore fishing and release some arrows as an activity during this cold and gloomy weather. Josie was recently graced with Wimbledon excellence, and we couldn't be absent for a tennis extravaganza where fashion, flavor and flair served the set. On a furry note, style, community and compassion take center stage as South African celebrities and their pets gathered for an afternoon of fashion philanthropy and feel-good fun for a good cause. Malik also takes us on a musical journey that encapsulates all things love from his latest album. Now that's a lineup that will keep you glued to your seats, so buckle up and enjoy the show. Take it away, meh?
Welcome to Trendz Live on SABC News. I'm Ndisi, but you can call me Mne. Happy Friday, happy Mandela Day. I trust that you had a splendid one and went out to do your 67 minutes of good. Drop us your pictures and videos showing us what you got up to this Mandela Day. Our handle on X is @Trendz on SABC. Otherwise, it's still the very best of lifestyle, music and culture, entertainment, and so much is coming up on the show with a special panel later on celebrating 75 years of SABC News through a fashion eye, Trendz lifestyle. All of that and so much more is on the way, but to kickstart the show, the International Nelson Mandela Month, Hyde Park Corner north of Johannesburg went all out to prove that style, compassion and community can walk hand in hand or paw in paw. South African celebrities, designers and their furry friends gathered for an afternoon of fashion, philanthropy and feel-good fun. Trendz Live was there to catch every stylish, wagging moment.
A celebration of kindness, creativity and community in honor of Mandela Day.
We've got so many events happening all around our country during Mandela Month. It's a busy month for 67 blankets for Nelson Mandela Day. But I do know that Jill Gurgle, Hyde Park Centre, 67 blankets. We love holding hands. And of course, I love dogs. So I think the coming together of our furry friends, human beings who love to support, who love to contribute to helping a better society.
Whether you were there to adopt a pet, buy a scarf or just soak in the inspiration, the event was a reminder that change starts with small acts of kindness.
These scarves have been made for Mandela Day, July 18th, where they're going to be hanging on trees, around lampposts, railings, so people walking home from work spot this winter wonderland of colour all around our country. And there's a love note that will be attached to each scarf. I'm going to be going on the red bus downtown, where we're going to be hanging scarves in a park, and people walking by will be able to, people are very curious. They go up to the scarf and they read the note, and the note is in all official languages, 11 languages. I am not lost. If you're cold and need me, please take me.
I am a roving ambassador for 67 blankets. I joined 67 blankets in 2015. Remember, it started officially in 2014. Yeah. So when I retired, I became a full-time knitwits. We call ourselves knitwits. Throughout the year, we make blankets. And for the month July, to celebrate the birthday of our late president, Nelson Mandela, we make scarves. So our group in Bromhof, Caroline Stein asked us to make 1,000 scarves. We made 1,067 scarves.
At the heart of the event was a powerful message: adopt, don't shop.
So Woodrock Animal Rescue is a rescue centre that has been going for over 42 years. We rescue, we rehabilitate, we rehome, we do outreaches, education. We've got a cat cafe. We also do a program called Paws at Work. We've got our mental wellness dogs, which you met some of our mental wellness dogs. And it's just the most amazing place. We are pro-life, fiercely pro-life, pro-quality life, which is really, really great. How are we involved in today's 67 Blankets and Hyde Park initiative is that they've included us into their 67 minutes, initiative. And we are so honoured and blessed to play a part in today's Mandela Day initiative. It's really exciting. It's a fabulous initiative. And as always, Woodrow Animal Rescue are thrilled to play a part in it.
I had a Great Dane called the Lady Hamilton, and she was known as Hammy to friends, only to friends. And she was actually quite famous. She had an article in the Sunday Times when they did a feature on dogs. And she was she was called Hectic Hammy.
Oh, wow.
And because she was like a Great Dane, that they loved sofas and they loved beds. She used to sleep on my bed with my husband, and we would sleep with our sort of legs hanging out. And rules of the house were that you can't move Hammy.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's recently left me, and I'm going to actually look for a rescue dog. So it's nice to be here tonight.
You are so dressed up. Do you dress up your dogs as well?
We try. I'm a designer, so for me, they are sort of like born into fashion. We've done photo shoots. My friends usually joke that they're the most famous and the most stylish dogs around. So yeah, they're usually around fashion, and
How come they're not dressed tonight?
for this it becomes tricky because they're also very active. They would have torn the clothes up by now. Yeah.
You are watching Trendz live on SABC News. Happy Mandela Day.
Happy Mandela Day.
You know what? Other than the fact that they're going to chew my remote, I think I want myself a furry friend. Let's take a look at some international news that made headlines this week. We also pay our last respects to South African comedian and actor Oscar Matluputhu Mgudlwa, who died after a short illness this week. He was 50 years old.
In international news making headlines this week, the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon has sought success since its release last month, grossing at $560 million worldwide. The fantasy adventure film was released some 15 years ago after the DreamWorks film animation, which De Blore also co-wrote and co-directed, came out. De Blore also directed its 2 follow-up animations. The movie stays loyal to the original, retelling the story of the kind-hearted hiccup son of a Viking chieftain, once again played by Jared Butler, who secretly befriends a dragon he names Toothless. From next Tuesday, fans of the film, which also stars Nico Parker and Nick Frost, will be able to see such makings of Vikeness, as well as other bonus content. Still looking into some great entertainment, musicians who performed at the Live Aid concert raised millions for famine relief in Ethiopia. They reunited in London on Sunday to mark the event's 40th anniversary, attending a special performance of the musical Just for One Day. Some of the biggest names in music came together for the televised international charity show, held simultaneously at London's Wembley Stadium and the John F. Kennedy Stadium in Philadelphia. An estimated 1.5 billion people globally watched Live Aid via live satellite broadcasts. The musicians attended a performance of Just for One Day, the Live Aid musical, a behind-the-scenes stage musical featuring songs from Sunday's attendees as well as Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Madonna, Elton John and Paul McCartney. A new London exhibition takes fashionistas into the glamorous creative world of the late Italian designer Gianni Versace, showcasing his colorful designs for the catwalk and worn by celebrities. The Gianni Versace retrospective, which opened at Arch's London Bridge on Wednesday, features more than 450 pieces designed by Versace, including a British-specific section showcasing looks worn by models such as Kate Moss, Naomi Campbell, as well as Elton John and the late Princess Diana, amongst others. It's an assembly of collectors from around Europe who have come together and contributed their items to put on display. Celebrities and the rich embraced his creations, which included plenty of prints, namely the brand's head logo. On show were outfits from various collections, starting from those in the 1900s until his death. The exhibition features both men and women's wear, including a selection of printed silk skirts, amongst many other fabulous items. This is all we have time for this evening on our news wrap, but do catch us every week for some of the best lifestyle and edutainment news around. Let's get the show rolling.
We're back again with another entertainment news wrap next week. Now, Soweto prides itself with murals that bring much color to the township, and on another one of Toura Travel Therapy's art excursions, we discover a revolutionary street artist whose work offers strong narratives of the culture and history of Ekasi. In his very own home studio where all the ideas are birthed, Trendz live today Mukeletsi met street artist Trendz and was left in awe. Let's find out what makes his artistic craft so unique.
Home in Soweto transformed into an exhibitive archive of artworks. A warm welcome into his studio reveals marvels of Trendz work spanning over more than 30 years.
I'm a Soweto-born artist. Started painting the streets since '91. Influenced by graffiti, obviously, behind the culture, hip hop, where we used to make music. We wanted an identity that, as African artist one, also South African artist, we don't want to be looking like the other artists. When you come to South Africa, you must know what these are the artists as a cast. So the influence was basically African art, where we were studying about African art.
Believe it or not, Trendz brush strokes are sometimes stimulated by music. While his band plays African tunes in the background, the sounds intrigue artistic melodies that inspire his work. Having traveled extensively and rubbing shoulders with international stars, this culturally rooted creative has also positioned South African township art on global stages.
I got a scholarship to study in Switzerland for 5 years, where I was exposed in a study called Masters of Art in Public Sphere, where we will transform spaces into festivities of art. Therefore, I traveled, I could say, from Spain to Sweden, New York, China, England. I will mention just few. We wanted our identity to be recognized with our music, which is African music, and then also the style. You'll find all the patterns that you'll see in different ethnic groups, like your Xhosas, the Ndebeles, the Swatis, the Tswanas, the Zulus. If you know the patterns and the symbols, you'll always find something in your artwork.
Coming to Kasi, I never actually expected to see such a space. You would expect such spaces in elite places, and to actually get to experience this right Kokasi, it's quite interesting. To me, what stands out is that most of these pieces that he has in here are actually inspired in real time. For him to come out with such pieces, you would actually think that he was sitting in a studio art and crafting his thing.
The aim is to hone talent even on the streets for others to express themselves through the freeing medium of street or African pop art.
Well, I just realized when I was traveling that in Makassar A2 we are missing a lot of art and also platforms. Coming back from overseas, I just wanted to plow back to my community, which is Soweto, and then we started painting around murals around Soweto, strategically also looking into stepping stones, where our artworks will be exposed to an international audience. In our hood, we are missing the color, we're missing that vibrancy, that heritage, that culture. Our history is not printed anywhere else. We needed something within our platforms like your Vilakazi Street, your Morisai's exists.
Ntlapo's culmination of artistry, which orbits between art, design, music and fashion, is certainly reaping fruits, as millionaires have been born from his selfless craft.
I made most of them millionaires today. I won't mention names because now they want to start stalking them. I worked with a youth, more than 50 well-known artists today. So I train young people to do advertisings, the murals that you see on the streets from different brands. It is important for a legacy, especially for Sowetans, and also sidlulise talent. Because saguga siyadlula, we are just passing by, and then we need to leave also this talent continuing, building also our community.
Not only do the tours come here in Soweto, but they will be able to actually see what Soweto has to give to the tourism space.
Art transforming township streets into memorable mural paintings embedded in rich cultural and historical images. Now that's a spectacular way to plow back into Ikasi that's full of budding artists.
Welcome back to the show. You're still watching Trendz live on SABC News. Now, as we celebrate 75 years of news, we're not just honoring the headlines, we're spotlighting the style. From power suits to bright colors, bold makeup to natural afro hair, our news anchors have always made a statement. Here to break down the evolution of fashion, hair and makeup on screen are three style-savvy voices. Broadcast legend and mental health advocate Auspeni Libiane, host of Inspired Sundays and Umpagati. Also have entertainment photographer Bra Opa Operati Bopape, who's captured SA's biggest stars over the 2 decades, and media personality Mika Stefano, who's a blogger, broadcaster, and pop culture guru. Thank you so much for honoring me. I'm sitting with greatness today. Hey. Marie. Thank you so much for joining our Fashion Police.
Thank you for having us. I didn't know that I was going to be Fashion Police because police are trending this week for other things. So I didn't realize that this is, I thought I'm here to be like a cultural observer.
Maybe let's call it commentator. Maybe let's call it culture commentator.
Exactly.
All right. I have to stick with you, Auspeni, because you're part of the visual evolution of broadcast. You know, we've seen you come in, we're seeing you now. Talk to me about which era you think gave the anchors more power and expression.
I think as we transitioned, into the 90s, because remember, 1990 we go into democracy, sort of, and then 94 we go into voting. But the build up to 1994 was an exciting time for television, and I'm consuming it as a teenager. That's Felicia, on the social commentary and community engagement of conversation, and then there's the anchors, but also there's representation in terms of language. I was saying to Palesa, where's George Makholwane? I want to talk about George Makholwane, saying, "Get George Makholwane, do you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
And as a petty young woman, you're like, "That's my person." Mona Mononyani doing that, and then Izimachila, Lemkhangdire, as you can see, you realize there's a part of me on television.
Oh, I love that. That's truly incredible. You must see yourself visually represented.
Yeah.
Mika, you're a pop culture connoisseur. Look, if a young anchor, say me, for example, had to be on set and I'm wearing a baggy style suit and I'm mixing the colors, I don't know if we can still call it color blocking, would this be a fashion statement to crime?
Well, I think if you had to rock it, definitely. The baggy suits with the cinched waist, I think it could look quite cute. Is that a tablecloth?
No, this is a great Izimachila. He's wearing an iconic, check suit.
The tie, the sharp pencil tie, the collar, it was definitely an era.
It is.
It's an iconic era.
It's an iconic era.
And also the hair. I like the hair.
The hair.
Because it was the afro thing, like with the perms. Remember back in the days, they used to have the afros.
Yes.
And after there were the perms. Then in the 90s, it was the dreads.
Yes. And I have to ask Kupra Opa, because you've seen it all through the lens, right? We've done German cards, straight back, and
Lady Eskel.
Which ones would you say were the most expressive? And I mean, look, South Africa also went through like a rebel phase, We said, well, we're African, we're here, this is our hair. Which was the most expressive for you?
it was the perm and with a dress. By the way, I used to have the dress in the 90s.
You still do.
So now I'm still 19, by the way. So like with the dress and the afro, that's my thing. Because the afro, like you...
No dress on the news bulletins.
Yeah.
They were never dressed.
Oh, yeah.
No. You will have the perm, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And you will have the natural hair.
Yeah, natural hair,
there will be no dress.
I was pretty streaky, man. And you can tell that she's an SABC baby. She was watching through the
I was watching.
I have to ask you though, then, because you came into the industry, did you ever feel any pressure to feel TV standards? To say, oh, my hair must look this way, I must look this way?
Not really. The only time actually I relaxed my hair was because I was doing a show on SABC One which was sponsored by Soft and Free, so I needed to embrace the product. I came with an afro. I used to wear a turban actually when I first came. I got a TV job because I was wearing a turban. Like I was uniquely stylish like that. I was part of like those young people who were like, you call it rebel. We were very expressive. We were culturally conscious. You know, people like myself, Tendi Somazwai, we were wearing those turbans. And then obviously when I did that fashion show, then Soft and Free was sponsoring, so I had to relax my hair. Otherwise, my hair is always like this. It's in a kinky style. If it's not this, I'm wearing a beret. If not, I'm tying a doke. If I'm not, I'm tying it like Bokukuba. Yeah, because that's what I know. That's what I've seen, and I mean, obviously, they would not fly on the news, but on the news, I would go with this. And you know, obviously, every now and again, I play around Kadi Wiki and all of that.
Well, funny, exactly. I was gonna say, Rian. Apparently, there was all these rumors
that's a wig.
Don't lie to me.
Yes, there was a rumor.
Maybe a toupee or a wig or.
It could have been a toupee, and I mean, this hairstyle was iconic.
It was.
And his hair was
I think
perfect,
it had its own Instagram account.
Can I say, when I was younger, when we'd go cut our hair, we'd say, oh, can I please have the tiko mudise or the what? So I'm wondering, do you think people would go to the salon and say, can I get the Rayan Kraba?
I hope not. I really hope no one did.
They definitely did. I forgot that there was also a gentleman who used to be the Indian news anchor. You know, I think one of the things I've always loved about the SABC is every little bit of us is on our channels. And then you would see
Mahindra.
Mahindra. And you would see, like, you know, that, and I'm definitely sure that Indian men would be like, his hair was always glossy and shiny. I mean, obviously, a vuyo is a vuyo in terms of the cut.
It kind of reminds me of Shahan, because Shahan these days, you know, they're like, I want the Shahan.
That's what it is.
Mika, you are a person who's been in theater, TV, radio. Do you think that these pressures that are so-called defined TV pressures come from the industry or maybe the audience, you know? Maybe the audience expects to see you look as good as
I think it's a little bit of both, because these personalities were in our homes, in our lounge, on our TV every day. They're almost like an extension of families. So it's a little bit of like, what do the people want and what can I give them and how can I influence them? I mean, that tie that Vuyo wore was definitely an influential moment. I think even here with Tracy, with the power suit, with the shoulder pads, it's definitely something that in that time of the early 90s, women were finding their feet within the various industries which they were moving in. Maybe 100%. Even if it's not just TV or entertainment, but just them being so much more confident in moving into owning their space as women in the business space. So yeah.
Penny, I'll come to you.
I just wanted to add that I also think that as much as it's what's going on at the time, you know, television is visual, but you're disseminating information. I think the professional look is also very important, because I watch people right now on TV, like eyelashes are batting, very destructive. Hair is, I mean, there's like slay queen hair, and no disrespect. It's like club hair. Okay, let's just say that. When I'm going to a club, there's a certain hairstyle I will look, and then there's a certain way I dress. But I'm really not expecting that from my news anchor. And I think that's also one of the things that I feel like we've kind of lost. Bold colors are welcoming, and bold colors actually send a message. Also, when you do news television, you gotta know, you know, and it's different, obviously, standards for men and women. You know, you can wear the same suit as a man 50,000 times. As a woman, if I wore the suit every day, there will be an outcry.
100%.
But you gotta make me trust you with the information. But if your hair makes me remember my friend at the club, I'm not interested.
Credibility.
I'm tuning out. Yeah, credibility. So it's also those things.
Let's chat about this outfit. There's a lot I want to say. First, the hairstyle. I mean, this is true natural style. But let's talk about her face also. When we look at anchors these days, we're in the era of face beats. You know, we contour and the like. But she doesn't have much makeup.
Well, I think exactly what Penny's saying. I would believe what she has to tell me as opposed to a slay queen who's all dolled up and has like lashes and hair. So I suppose the approach was definitely more inviting, more welcoming, more. Okay, I'm going to listen to what she has to say, as opposed to doubt what does she.
Yeah, but she also looked like the woman that you would meet everywhere at that particular time. Relatable. I mean, if anything, I would criticize here if I had to. I don't know what's going on here on the chest.
The blouse.
On the blouse. Yeah, but also I think also her Benny and Betsy, maybe it's the angle, maybe it was a video you guys took.
I see.
Yeah, because if it's balanced, she looks like a true South African woman, unique, beautiful, natural hair. Because that's also the other thing. I don't want to tune into my TV and people look American. I want to feel like I am in South Africa. Because we have a distinct look.
I love that. Yeah. That's so true. Bra Opa, you've seen it through the lenses. You've seen the makeup change over the years. What's your take on that? Because, I mean, was there a time where you thought, oh, this is getting scary now. Maybe I don't want to.
He's got the files.
He's got the files.
Yeah, got the files. But for Naki, the eyelashes sometimes, the eyelashes they were writing nowadays, they are traumatized. Yeah, that's what I can see. But it didn't look for men for now. It's either your natural or chiscope or brush. Yeah, that's for me.
A brush.
Okay, no, it's fine. Look, I want to chat about the personality now. We've had anchors like Izzy Machila who brought such a vibe and just a charisma to screen. How important was it for anchors to move away from sort of like a stoic delivery of the bulletin and to add their own flair? Sharp, I'll come to you, Auspin.
I think that's just because, it's one of the reasons why I ran away from news, because I just felt it was too stoic. And then I'm like, I talk with my hands. And the more I saw that changing, because when I first got into broadcast, it was very stoic. It's like you're a teacher in class, everyone must I was like, oh, wow, this is too serious and too boring. But when the personality starts coming in, you actually realize that these people are not just robotic, bringing you news. Izzy Machila, as you said, Vuyo, Sharp, Mamnokolo, Ndintanda, Nonke Makai. And those just makes them memorable, relatable, and you trust them with information. Like I remember, for example, like when there's big events, like the passing of Chris Honey, Mamnokolo, like when she did that, I'm barely speaking, but I'm a linguist. You fell in love with the language, and that's also the other beauty. It made me love, in Sepedi, we've got Marema Kadika. You love idioms and It's like you're like, oh, that's what he said. What does that mean? And then you go back. You want to learn, you want to understand. You realize the power of language and how that shapes culture and helps in your personality. So I loved that.
Sure. Let's talk about legacy then. Mika, I'll come to you because these are things that definitely create a legacy, because even today, Mamnokolo is retired, but we remember in Dintana, Nonke Makaya, and Sapsap,
even back to the personality, their profiles became so much more recognized outside of just presenting the news.
Even real,
And then you started to know, okay, that's Tracy Going, and she had this whole drama with and she's now produced a book, and she's got so each person became bigger than the job that they were doing. Which is very interesting.
I was going to say, like, even Rian, I mean, remember how recently Rian was made part of the South African Music Awards? Because of how iconic he was. And then it's like, it became,
It's so funny, there's this picture of Rian and Arthur and myself.
The 1 July.
And I asked the people in the office, I was like, guys, do you know these people? And half of the people knew Rian, and then half of the other people knew Arthur. But no one knew all three together.
And that's who we are.
At least you know me, at least.
It's the stuff of legends. I'm going to get in trouble, but I have to ask this just as a parting question. Look, we've come a long way. We're celebrating 75 years. Hair, makeup, clothes, personality has come a long way. Bra Opa, I'll close it off with you. Do you think that anchors today can express themselves more freely, or is there still guidelines to say this is the box of what a news anchor should be, and maybe they just like coloring outside the lines?
For me, they are following the line because, like, most of the time, remember, they are the social media, fake news and everything. So the news are still trustworthy. When I watch SABC, I know they are genuine news, no fake news. For me, they play important role.
Yeah.
Look, I work for the SABC, so I can tell you. They tell us, you gotta keep the standard.
Keep the standard.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, they should. There's a little bit of staying in the line and there's a little bit of expression. I mean, if you watch internationally, and maybe it's because I consume a lot of media, you see a lot of like news anchors, go beyond outside of like the structured, format, because also they are real people. They're relatable, and they gotta be relatable. And in the age of social media, we want to relate to them beyond just,
I think if I could add anything, if the people who had walked before us didn't push boundaries, then we wouldn't have people who we have today.
100%.
So to continue pushing boundaries so that our children in a few years' time will have personalities who are speaking to them, and we can consume news from them in a different way.
I love it. I think that's the perfect part.
And the good thing with the SABC, like we got all the language, we got Sepedi, we got
all of them.
Yeah, Venda.
We've got all of them.
Yeah, all of them. So SABC, you go high. I know SABC, but SABC too.
Yeah.
Then just cause I know I can't hear you wait, but watch him about
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Thank you so much for joining me on Trendz Live. Truly the stuff of legends. I know I'm sitting in greatness. And look, man, here's to another 75 years of SABC News. Welcome back to Trendz Live on SABC News. Remember, we are on X. The handle is @Trendz on SABC. Now, Malik Music is on to new sounds and graces us tonight in the studio on the Trendz Live stage to talk about his journey and what his new album entails. I'm going to be chatting to him a bit later on, but before that, I have to give you a taste. Here he is now performing his hit track. It's called Testify on Trendz Live. Enjoy.
Sengia kolwa utaluizwili mtandazo ya mingo bawena wanzalube lulutando kuwewetwa wintogo zempilweni ya mingi azife
Oh, it's feel-good music on a feel-good Friday night. I'm going to give him some time to catch his breath, but then I'm going to be talking to Malik straight after this. For now, though, forget the scoreboard because this weekend in Joburg, fashion was the real match. Wimbledon met South African flair at the Soirée Tennis Edition, where courtside couture took center stage. No rackets, no rules, just the style that serves.
Think about fashion ruling the sidelines while you're watching a game. That's a simple way of putting it when we are looking at today's theme, courtside couture. Think also styling your oversized sweater or just simply dressing up. Forget about the game because at the end of the day, you become the match. So today there's definitely no match. We just dressed up because we want to show each other what we look like when we all dressed up.
The soirée transformed the West Cliff into a scene straight out of Wimbledon with a South African twist.
Stella Tour's got a global partnership with Wimbledon as well as some other tennis tournaments like Roland Garros, the ATP and the Miami Open. And so the Racket Club is our experiential platform for bringing tennis and basically paddle to life because those are racket sports. So we brought the Racket Club to life about 2 months ago in South Africa, and it's really about, if you think about paddle, this exploded in South Africa, and it's a social sport, and we're a brand that brings people together. So we're really interested in bringing people together on the court as well as off the court, because that's where people really get to connect and spend some time together.
Right now, I'm with the fashion designer who created the looks behind us. It is cold, it's winter, so you make sure that you cover up so that if you layer inside, because I can see you've layered, which is not a bad thing, you've layered, but the dress accommodates the layering.
Exactly. You must be smart when layering, especially in winter. There's no need for you to just layer on top to ruin your outfit, you know. You can do it in a smart way. This collection, the inspiration behind it was obviously the tennis as the sport, but the lifestyle element of it, and just merging Nemo as a brand to create this beautiful world that we are living in right now. Tennis was the main inspiration for the collection, but obviously bringing in our style.
Was there a specific tennis player that you kind of made reference to and their looks?
I think Coco Gauff and Serena are the people that I always looked up to in terms of tennis. I'm not an avid tennis watcher, but I know the fashion behind tennis and the lifestyle element of it. So I think those are the two. They play around a lot with textures and shapes, silhouettes on the tennis court. I remember when Serena did the tutu thing on the tennis court. It's not very stringent and strict.
Guests arrived in shades of white and curated tennis-inspired style, a nod to classic courtside couture.
You ladies play paddle?
No, actually I don't. I've tried tennis once and it was really bad, so I just assume paddle's going to go that direction as well, but I support everybody else.
Guys, I found Little Red Riding Hood. Wakodi tennis saying.
Thank you. I really have been told that I'm a fairy, you know. This is my look. I have statement pieces. I always have great makeup on my eyes. But for today, I went for the courtside chic couture. Keeping it simple. I usually sometimes get out of but I was like, let me keep it simple and still effective, you know.
Yeah. This pullover is basically a knitted pullover, and these are rackets, and it's inspired by tennis, and the colors are also inspired by our culture and our richness as Africans. And yeah, a pullover always works well with the striped shirts and cream pants. So yeah, my look is very simple.
Oh, we love looking fashionable while playing sports. Now, for something truly exciting, you heard him with his musical rendition from his brand new self-titled album, Malik. He's a proudly South African, award-winning Afro-Soul musician whose musical journey spans over 2 decades. Now he's on to a new chapter with hits such as Testify and Ngaphandle Kwakho, and he joins us on Trendz Live to chat about his brand new body of work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Malik. How's it? Taza.
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good. Listen, thank you for joining us. I want to get straight into it. Let's chat about the music. We heard you perform Testify a bit earlier on. I know that this is a song that's really close to your heart. Talk to me about the sentiments behind it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Testify is a song where I proclaim my love for this person. You know what I mean? I just want to show it off. You know, I just want the world to know that, listen here, I'm in love and I'm not ashamed to show you off. She's going to appear on my stories on Facebook or Instagram, you know. It's about, you know, just being real and being open to, like, okay, listen here, I love you, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Artist, you always say, oh, I'm not ashamed, but that's okay. That's okay. Listen, you're a multifaceted artist and you dabble in multiple genres. Talk to me about some of the dominant themes that are coming through in your latest body of work.
Well, I sing about love. I sing about everything. I sing about social ills. You know, there's a song called Kongolos. I remixed Jonathan Butler's song. And I sing about love. I sing mostly about love. You know, I sing about the realities that we face as South Africans. We got a lot of stories that we can tell as South Africans, and I make sure I bring that out on this album.
I love the fact that you also mentioned Jonathan Butler now, because I had to ask you, you've done a rendition by Umama Abigail Kubeka, also Jonathan Butler's guitar strings. These are musical greats, you know. Talk to me about how they impact your music.
You know, as South Africa, we've got a lot of music and a lot of like classic music, you know what I mean? And songs like Abu Mbombela, those are the songs that the new generation don't really know of. So it's important for artists like us to make sure that we bring those songs up so that at least, you know, the music doesn't die. So we need to do Amar remixes like that, you know. So doing Amar remixes for that, I just made sure that the music, you know, is always there, you know. I want the new generation, my kids, for example, they don't know about Jonathan Butler. So if I do a song from Jonathan Butler, it makes it easier for them to like, oh, okay, so what else did he do? You know what I mean?
Relate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's incredible. Now, love is all about collaboration, you know. You've also got collaborations in your brand new album. Talk to me about those. What can we expect?
I've featured a couple of the big guns. I have songs with Vusinova. I featured Trevor Marco. I featured Dlala Regal. I featured Kedleza, a very new artist coming up from the stable that I did the same album to. I've got Afro Traction, so we did So the album is very. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. We cannot wait to enjoy it. Look, it's Mandela Month, and Utata is somebody who is known for inspiring us through his quotes, you know, when he speaks in his speeches. Talk to me about how music transcends into you making an impact in this Mandela Month.
Yeah, I think Mandela Month is all about love. We need to show love, you know, more than anything else. And also it's for me it's very important because there's this quote that by Mandela that I really like so much. It goes it always seems impossible until it's done. You know what I mean? So for me it's I think in Gaia that oomph. You know what I mean? Just do it, Malik, you know. Release this album under your company. You know, then you've got nothing to lose. Why not? And that's what I did, you know what I mean? And I was like, let me just release this album under my record company and let's see what's going to happen.
And you know what's incredible? The fact that you are 6 albums in. Like, you know, so I have to ask you, because really you've got stage presence, you've got such a soulful voice. And again, after 6 albums, I have to ask, what lies at the core of your craft? What is that thing that defines the craft of Malik?
I think, you know, for me, before I do everything, I just ask God, this is it. You know me, I'm your child, do me best. I'm here right now, just take over. And I think it's very important to be humbled. You know, you have to be very, like, ungachomi, you know what I mean? Just be yourself, you know what I mean? If you put God first and nothing else, it's gonna be on your way.
Sure.
It works for me.
Look at you embodying the spirit of Utata and inspiring us. Malik, you're an incredible artist. All the best with your album. We wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much.
Wow, okay, I'm inspired. But listen, I'm going to step off now because I've been dying to hear this. And I know you have been too. I'm going to see you later. It's going to be truly, truly incredible. You can also link us on our socials at Trendz on SABC and tell us what you think of Malik. But I promise you, it's going to be nothing but the best. Also, coming up a bit later on is still the very best of culture, music, entertainment right here on Trendz Live. He's going to perform now his song. It's called No Matemba, and I don't know, man, I've been asking earlier on, oh, it's testifying. I have to ask you, who is this lady?
No Matemba.
Oh, No Matemba.
Usekolo nomathemba akasabhali nencwadi encane uhambile nomathemba akasabhali nencwadi encane wabuya nomathemba akasabhali nencwadi encane uhambile nomathemba akasabhali nencwadi encane. Sorry, my baby, bekuyiputa yakubula my baby, salusukola salusubuya my baby, akusafani uhambile nomathemba akusafani nesafari ngani. Hangekona loving yazi Hanikhulekile sandlo sami Sulinye mbezu ngasakali Loving thanda wena hlalo wazi Uhambile nomathemba Loving thanda wena hlalo wazi Usekolo nomathemba Akasabhali nencwadi encane uhambile nomathemba akasabhali nencwadi encane wabuya nomathemba akasabhali nencwadi encane uhambile nomathemba akasabhali nencwadi encane bekuyiputa nomathemba akasabhali kuyiputa.
You're still watching Trendz Live on SABC News. Now, after that engaging fashion police chat with our guests earlier on, we played a little bit with AI, because we live in a technology era, to see how some of our iconic news anchors would look in the modern times. Here is what AI predicted. Listen, we will forever miss and hold them close to our hearts. May they continue to rest in peace. Oh man, that's so touching. And once again, we will forever hold them close to our hearts and may their souls continue to rest in peace. That's unfortunately all we have time for this evening. But fear not, we're back again next week, same time, exclusively on SABC News. I'm Mnetisi, but you can call me Mne. Until next time, from our hearts to yours, au revoir. Bye-bye.